I wouldn't say things that I knew, you know what I mean? I believe so. I do believe so. I have proof, things that I could say that will back up my claim.
Amidst the shimmering beats and golden chains of the 9S hip-hop realm, lay a story untold, a rivalry that went beyond mere lyrics today. The whispers of that era surround one name, Diddy, as Tupac Shakur's voice echoes from that tumult a decade. One has to wonder, did his silence hold more truth than his words? The flashy drama of the 1990s was not restricted to music videos. Behind every chartbuster lay tales of rivalry, often amplified by the media. They did not just report the East Coast-West Coast feud, they became its playwrights, escalating individual disagreements into a national spectacle. Among these narratives was Tupac Shakur's bold claim, placing Diddy at the center of his 1994 shooting. These stories, though riveting, may have missed the layers beneath.
I mean, it's between me and him, and only he knows. So every time he say it didn't happen, or that's the only thing that makes this become an issue to everybody.
Facing the demons of his past, in a recent interview, Diddy was confronted about his alleged involvement in Shakur's fate. Choosing his words carefully, he responded,
"Now, it was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true."
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense.
A guarded reply, but one dripping with hints of remorse and reflections of a time gone by. But the tumultuous 90s didn't just see hip-hop's rise, it bore witness to the fracturing of a deep bond. Tupac Shakur and Notorious B., both icons in their own right, once stood side by side there. Camaraderie evident.
I mean, it was like Tom and Jerry. It was like you could not separate these two. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed, from shared birthdays under the Gemini sign to discussions of personal ambitions, the two were intertwined.
It was like two children in grade school that just hit it off and just hung out with each other all the time.
Yet, tragedy struck when trust was questioned. The 1994 ambush on Shakur, leaving him wounded. Seeds of doubt. The fact that Biggie and Diddy were in a nearby recording studio that fateful night led to an open accusation from Tupac. The media latched onto this, with the rift deepening and the narrative turning from camaraderie to confrontation.
When the whole East-West thing started, we were caught off guard, and that broke my man's heart.
The repercussions were in an explosive. Biggie's 1994 track, Who Shot Ya, was seen by many, especially Shakur, as a J, but Biggie insisted it was written before the event. As the East Coast-West Coast rivalry deepened, so did personal animosities. Shakur's alliance with Bass Death Row Records and Biggie's allegiance to N's Bad Boy Records further polarized the scene. Like when we had got hit with Hit 'Em Up, I had to make the call of Biggie. I said we not going to respond, somebody's going to get hurt. In the tempestuous realm of 90s hip-hop, the 1995 Source Awards in New York City became ground zero. Reggie Wright Jar, once at the helm of security at Death Row Records, recalls the jarring pronouncement from label co-founder Marion Suge Knight. Throwing shade at Diddy, Knight provocatively declared any artist wanting to remain a star without the executive producer overshadowing them in videos come to death row. This wasn't mere posturing, it was an open challenge to D's prominence. The East Coast crowd, fiercely loyal to its turf, interpreted this as an outright act of aggression. The tensions ratcheted up when the Dog Pound and Snoop Dogg dropped the contentious single New York, New York, New York. Many New Yorkers took umbrage at the West Coast rappers filming on their home turf, especially with the audacious visuals of the rappers toppling a New York high-rise. Scariest situation in my life because of the level of power that we had in it. Could have gone really bad, but it didn't end there. Shakur's fiery single Hit 'Em Up surfaced the following year, taking pointed jabs at Wallace and making brazen claims about his relationship with the singer Faith Evans. Wright noted it's still one of the top 3 most diss songs discussed in hip-hop, reflecting the depth of disrespect toward another label and their loved ones. Diddy, always one to defend his territory, firmly stated, "I live in the East, and I'm going to die in the East." The battle lines were etched, and the animosity had ignited a blaze that would engulf the entire hip-hop world. This growing hostility wasn't just a spectacle for fans or a clash of musical egos. It was a manifestation of deeper socio-political concerns. Both coasts channeled their narratives' aspirations and struggles through their iconic artists as Shakur and Biggie ascended to symbolize these divergent narratives. The chasm deepened. A poignant incident that further strained the relationship happened backstage at the 1996 Soul Train Awards in Los Angeles. According to Wright, an already taut atmosphere was exacerbated when Wallace was chosen to perform ahead of Tupac Shakur. This decision, seemingly minor in the larger landscape of things, became another spoke in the ever-turning wheel of conflict behind the scenes. Diddy, the brains behind Bad Boy Records, steered Biggie's ascent, blending his raw talent with commercial savvy. Just intensely observes, did he knew how to harness Biggie's genius, making sure it resonated not just on the streets, but in mainstream charts. But Biggie's influence wasn't confined to hip-hop alone. Few knew of his secret love for country music, which subtly colored his lyrical canvases. Moper Shakur's recent disclosures add another layer of intrigue. The startling revelation of Shakur's potential alliance with Bad Boy Records seems almost surreal. Given the subsequent hostility, the ramifications of such a partnership would have been groundbreaking, potentially quelling the East-West feud. We can only speculate on the mic. Have been an East Coast-West Coast union with Tupac and Biggie collaborating could have changed the very fabric of hip-hop. Allah's personal and professional agendas, fueled by misunderstandings and media sensationalism, ensured the stream remained. Just that the 90s could have been a time of unity, but instead it became an era of lost opportunities and shattered dreams. You see Diddy, you see Suge Knight, and then a lot of their cohorts down there, but Tupac at Biggie at the top, as you were but the feud between the was not just on a personal or scene level. While the vibrant rhythms and poetic lyricism of the 90s dominated the airwaves, the underbelly of the era was painted with the dark strokes of gang affiliations and territorial disputes. Among the glaring echoes of the time was the entanglement of music with the violent realities of the streets, a blend that tragically changed the destinies of some of its brightest stars. People were starting to say it's a East Coast-West Coast rival. Right, because it was people that trying to make money. It was true people trying to make careers, people trying to get famous. Rivalries often intertwined with the music scene as artists bore the colors of their affiliations proudly, but the animosity sometimes spilled over into the mainstream, affecting even those who sought to stay above the fray. Events leading up to the fatal shooting of Tupac in Las Vegas in 1996 bore the unmistakable imprint of gang rivalries. Rumble with a gang member from South Central Knight claims he only tried to break it up. An incident where Davis's nephew Orlando Anderson and other Southside Crips assaulted one of Knight's bodyguards over a coveted Death Row Records necklace, set the stage for a tragic sequence of events. Ladd described the necklace, saying it was very prestigious to these gang members to wear this, further noting its symbolism as a badge of honor. With these gang wars escalating, Ladd termed the ensuing conflicts between the Southside Crips and the Mob Pew, a local blood gang, as the 10-Day War. The situation, as Dean Vaught recounted, turned from simmering tensions to full-blown warfare. He emphatically shared it blew up. It was definitely a war. That ominous September night in Las Vegas is etched in hip-hop lore after witnessing Mike Tyson's victory. Shakur's altercation with Anderson at the Megum Grand Casino set the tragic ball rolling. The ill-fated drive later that evening saw Shakur and Knight's vehicle ambushed, leading to the rapper's critical injuries. Greenidge, a part of Shakur's entourage, provided a chilling account of the incident, recalling Tupac's words, "Get on the ground, they're going to shoot you." At the center of this violent tableau was Dwayne Key. Davis Key was in the white Cadillac that pulled alongside Shakur's vehicle, though not the triggerman. His influence was undeniable, with Lee highlighting Davis' commanding presence. Key is the one who's going to make all the arrangements and all the plans until that gun goes into somebody else's hand. As the hip-hop community reeled from the loss of Shakur, the gravity of the tragedy deeply impacted Notorious B.I.G.A. Sentiment captured poignantly by Justin Tinsley. Biggie cried. He was like, "I always thought we were going to have a chance to reconnect." Biggie's fears were tragically nearly 6 months after Shakur demise, Biggie too fell victim to a drive-by shooting. Another luminary extinguished at the hands of an AAS undertow. H is a strong dude. I know Duke. You know what I'm saying. G, He's real strong. So when it was like he got shot, I was just more like, again, the rise of Diddy is intrinsically linked with these events. His silence, juxtaposed against the clamor of the 90s, seems almost deafening. Was it a reflection of a man troubled by conscience steeped in the blood? Rivalries of the past, the shimmering lights of success, often cast long shadows, and for Diddy, the specter of the 90s and its tragic crescendo remains an inescapable part of his narrative. Perhaps there's a weight to his billions, a burden of told stories and unsaid truths. The golden age of hip-hop was as much about its dazzling luminaries as it was about the darkness that consumed some of its brightest stars. And Tupac's the legend. Like I said, Tupac wasn't born. He was sent to us amidst the swirling speculation and fervor of the era. Fans haven't shied away from expressing their own theories, suspicions, and emotions regarding the role of Diddy in the overarching narrative. I don't know for sure, because I wasn't there, but I believe Puffy most definitely had something to do with Pac's assassination, whether it was directly or indirectly. One particularly fervent fan commented, the impassionate nature of this perspective seems to reflect a broader sentiment of suspicion. Another sharp observation we came across underscored the silence of Diddy's legal brigade. I do find it a bit interesting that Diddy, with the help of his highly qualified lawyers, has yet to take action in court by suing those people for their fate. Else claims, unless of course he'd prefer not to out of fear of being exposed in the process. The fan remark, it's an insightful point highlighting the dichotomy between Diddy's outward dismissal and his lack of litigious pursuit against those supposedly peddling falsehoods in the end. While individual fan opinions vary, a general consensus seems elusive. There's no uniform viewpoint, and while many harbor suspicions, others remain skeptical or neutral. The golden age of hip-hop, with its radiant triumphs and debilitating tragedies, continues to enthrall, confound, and divide the very audience it once united. As we reminisce about an era that changed music forever, we're left with more questions than answers. Why do you think Diddy has chosen silence over confrontation? Who has hushed responses hold the key to unlock some of hip-hop's deepest mysteries? Let us know in the comments below. We're eager to hear your perspective on this epic saga. Keep speculating, keep debating, and most importantly, keep the music. See alive. Peace out.